to fix
Novice
it.
chasers?
Should we go novice chasers?
Yeah, come on.
Well, let's just bang in straight away Nappers Hill. And one that we could have talked about in different categories so far, In the Pocket. Now, that is a horse that doesn't totally spring to mind, even though was a Grade 1 winner at Aintree, Fitzy. Anyway, those are my two I'm just throwing in there. A star's put in Stay Away Fry as well, Faye as well. Is it Faye or Fry?
Faye.
Faye.
Stay Away Faye is a real stare. You're looking at the Broadway, I think they call it now, is it? The 3-miler.
It will change probably. Yeah. Anyway, I
Marine
don't know because
Nationale.
Kevin will tell me that they changed the name this
Marine
morning.
Nationale.
Okay.
Winner of the Supreme.
Okay.
I think looks tailor-made for an Arkle. Like, honestly, Michael O'Sullivan, he looked like a fella who'd been riding around Cheltenham all his life, riding this horse. He took a pull turning for home, set this horse alight, and he went by Facile Vega like he was stood still. And Facile Vega is no mug, and this is a very good horse. He's been minded, you can see he's quite a light-framed horse, but he's light on his feet. And if you watch him jump the last again at Cheltenham, twinkle toes, he's a good horse.
Okay.
And to get the better of this fella, Facile Vega, took a bit of doing.
Champ Kylie?
Beat him cold. Champ Kylie looked good when won the Lawlers, didn't it? Nace. But prior to that, looked like he had a little bit to find.
Will you laugh at if I say the word Sharjah?
No, I won't. I watched that race again when that horse won.
He loved it, didn't he?
At Tipperary, and he bolted up. Fences will help him because he looked like he was a bit of a short runner previously, but I think over fences it will help him.
Kevin?
It just goes a little right. That's the only worry.
In fairness, like your great love affair, Matt, with Faheen, like in fairness, he showed that horses that are that good can go chasing like very late in life relatively and still be good and competitive. Like he won a Grade 1 Novice Chase. He was very competitive at Cheltenham. Now Sharjah wasn't quite as good as Faheen was over hurdles, but he won a heap of Grade 1s, and he seems to have made the transition with a lot of enthusiasm, and it seems to have reinvigorated him a bit. So while you set it up as in, the people might not take him seriously, but you'd be brave enough to forget about him now, and I'm sure he'll turn up in the likes of the Drinmore, an early staging ground for the better novices, and he'll probably be very tough to beat there because a lot of Willie's real big guns won't be, ready for a Grade 1 at that stage, and he very much will be.
How many 10-year-olds? You often tell me, in recent times, let's go since 1950, how many 10-year-olds have won the Arkle, Kev?
Has there been any?
No, there hasn't. None.
How many have tried?
Oh, Fitzy.
Very, very few, I'd say.
You got a 9-year-old in Sir Ken, and the best of the recent 8-year-olds, some good horses. Sizing Europe, Moscow Flyer were both 8 when they won the Arkle, but that makes sense because Moscow Flyer, of course, was a tremendous hurdler before, and you forget sometimes just how good he was over hurdles. Old Moscow used to bang the odd one, but he was pretty good. Okay.
But Faheen was beaten like a length in a whatever it's called, a Turner's Novices Chase at the age of 12. 12,
And he was unlucky not to win, Kev.
Yeah. But we're talking about one of the greatest national hunt horses anyone's ever seen.
Yeah, he had a lot of he'd been to Lourdes at that stage. Like, he had a fair few physical problems. In fairness to Sharjah, like he's never really had a problem, a big one anyway.
He should have won
poor
it.
Poor Faheen had been through a fair lot by the time he got there. Like, God, if he'd went there a year earlier, or 2 years earlier, he would have surely have won a Grade 1 Novice Chase there. But anyway, the point is, Sharjah, it wouldn't be an impossibility. Now, would you be surprised? Yeah, but you wouldn't like to dismiss it out of hand.
Yeah, he will, of course, be 11, not 10 by the time this race, if we're just talking about the Arkle comes along. But with Sharjah, you wouldn't rule him out because he's got that class, hasn't he? He's a very, very good horse.
Yeah, and he's a horse who has won Grade 1s over hurdles over 2 miles. So, he should be at the top of the list, really.
Yeah, loves Cheltenham as well. He's not sexy, is he, though, from a point of view of punters?
No.
There's not many punters out there saying, oh, Sharjah will win the Arkle. I mean, it's just not the kind of thing they say. In the pocket, I want to talk about that. That could be a very promising horse, couldn't it? AP will get excited.
He was very keen, raced on it a little bit. You wonder, will fences just get him to relax?
Yeah.
Because, very often when you ride that sort of horse, it gives them something to look at and they back off a little bit. And because of it, then they forget about being so keen. So I think he could be really interesting, this horse. But again, he's got a bit to find with Marine Nationale.
Yeah. I love these youngsters, though, Kev. Like, it's one of the fascinations, isn't it, when you see a really good novice hurdler going chasing. And I think all of us just want to see them go ping and love it. And I think there are so many parts of this game that if you follow it regularly, that you can get to grips with. And I really do believe those novice hurdlers the top novice hurdlers going chasing, it doesn't matter if it's 1 to 3 first time out. You watch every fence, and it's a bit like Constitution Hill. Only has to make a little area and there's a gasp even at 1 to 3. You just want them to survive and for survive as in get over the obstacle and show what they might be able to do.
Yeah, like evaluating those novice chasers is probably the thing that gets me as excited as anything during the national season. I think it's so much fun, figuring out which ones might
not good news for Mrs. Blake, that is it?
A bit shorter. But like the flip side of what we talked about earlier with Constitution Hill and the fact that he's probably going to be a super short price everywhere he goes for the next 5 or 6 years, is that he's going to clear out the novice hurdlers every year. In that they're going to be inclined towards going novice chasing. Like if Constitution Hill wasn't around, like Marine Nationale, Facile Vega, they probably all stay hurdling. So the fact that Constitution Hill is almost in there scaring them all off, it makes for an especially exciting novice chase scene. So, you take with one hand, but you get back with the other one.
But just on that, and this is just really a talking point, if people are scared off, I do think they're slightly missing a trick. Because at the end of the day, we know Constitution Hill's programme, and it's not as if he's running in a dozen races over the next 6 months. There are loads of champion hurdle trials with great prize money up for grabs. I mean, for instance, a horse like Stateman, and I appreciate he could go chasing or stay hurdling, but he can mop up prize money over hurdles if he stays hurdling. And there must be opportunities, the Wincanton hurdles and things like that pop up. There's a reason Alan King's horse, who wins over fences and hurdles.
Oh Lord,
One of Simon Mears.
Anyway, it's just completely gone from all our minds. People are chucking things at the Facebook right now, hitting YouTube. But that kind of horse can just mop up prizes, even though we can't remember his name.
Is Stateman going to go chasing? Is there a possibility?
No, I think they've said he's going to stay hurdling with Impera Passe. And between the two of them, they'll run riot, I'd imagine, in the non-Constitution Hill Grade 1 hurdles through the season. I suspect Willie will be sending runners to the UK in the races Constitution Hill isn't going to. I'd say Willie's very much on it in terms of what the opportunities Constitution Hill will create by scaring off so many.
And what about Facile Vega, Kev? That's a horse that kind of had the bubble burst last year, but in saying that, he still bounced back and won at the back end.
Yeah, look, he had a big blip in the middle of the season at the Dublin Racing Festival. There was excuses. He came back a little bit footsore, I think, after, and there was, of course, the high-profile criticism of the ride from Willie Mullins. And look, I was hoping he'd bounce back at Cheltenham. He was beaten fair and square by Marine Nationale, albeit with a bit of a mistake at the last. He did bounce back at Punchestown and was impressive. But yeah, look, how he'll adapt to fences will be really interesting, because unlike many of those we've already talked about, he hasn't come from a point-to-point background, and we've never seen him over a fence in that context. So how he fares in his first go over fences will be particularly interesting. But look, all the talent's there. There's no reason from his jumping style of a hurdle to suggest that he won't be suited by it. He's one of those, he was always a little bit, at times you'd say he jumped a hurdle solidly rather than really fluently. And those are often the ones that convert well to fences. So, can't wait to see him out. And we know with Willie, we won't be holding our breath to see his top novice chasers out in the next few weeks. You know, normally we need rain to come, you know, into November before we see them. But yeah, can't wait till they start coming out.
You were on about Nappers Hill and Hermes Allen. I suppose we've got to talk about him as well. And you know, because look, these are very good Irish horses, but we might not see them in the UK.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, we've got to talk about the horses that are based here.
Yeah, and Nappers Hill, again, if you're watching this in a few days' time off record, Nappers Hill should have run at Chepstow. And Hermes Allen, of course, could be amazing, although he disappointed at the end of last season.